Good morning, all. My name is Guy. Welcome to Guy's Garage. Today we're going to be doing an exhaust chop on a 21 Tacoma. Purpose being is we have a larger 33-inch tire that we'd like to use as a spare, and in the current configuration does not fit. It's very simple to do, very easy. Anyone could do it, so let's get after it. All right, good morning, all. So these are the tools that I'm going to be using. These are suggested. Realistically, whatever you have to make it work is going to work. However, we're going to break this down into a couple parts. We're going to need to bend the tabs a little bit wider to make the tire fit. And then we're going to have to remove the exhaust itself from the catalytic converter back. I'll show you where that is. And then we're going to have to actually make our cut and then seat the tire. So to bend our tabs, this is just representative. I use a smaller hammer with this. I just have it packed away and I don't want to get it right now. But some kind of persuasion device, a tape measure, and I use a blowtorch to help me out. So what you're going to do, and we'll explain this a little more in detail when we get to that point, we're going to heat up the tabs a little bit, knock them back and see how wide they go. I'll get into a little more detail as we're doing things. And then we also have the spare tire kit. That's to raise and lower the spare tire. To take the exhaust off, we have a little bit of penetrating oil, 3/8 inch ratchet with a 14mm socket. Again, my truck might differ from yours. Mine happened to be 14mm. A pry bar to help separate the exhaust flange. I don't think we're going to need it, just because my exhaust is pretty good. I only have around 30,000-ish miles on my truck. A cheer pipe with just my jack handle. Again, don't think I'm going to need it. We have some channel locks to help remove the exhaust hangers. I'll show you how to do that in a little bit. For the actual cut itself, we have my angle grinder. You could use hand saw, hacksaw, frickin' chop saw, whatever you want. This is my preferred method. 4.5 inch cutoff wheel, the arbor tool, and the Sharpie. Now, currently I have a flap wheel installed. I don't think I'm going to use it. The exhaust is a little bit thin, but I think what I'm going to use is actually my hand file to deburr when we get to that point. Alright, y'all, now that we're under the truck, you see some tabs right here. Already had the spare tire removed, but this tab is here. There's one on the other side, right about yonder. I don't know if you can see that, but it's very simple. So the first thing you do is you measure to see where it's at right now. So I like to pick landmarks. So I've already bent these tabs out of the way. However, the landmark I used was the corner closest to the end of the truck, the rear of the truck, and then this little cross member right here. So for this one, I got about 3.5, and the other one I got, you know, roughly 4 inches. Okay, that's how much I need to bend. But it's very simple. Find the center part right here. There's these little welds here you don't want to break. It's kind of easy to do those. I had to re-tack the ones on the other side, but these are non-structural, so they're just to stabilize the tire. So all I did was gave it a little bit of heat, and then I gave it a little bit of whack a couple times. You kind of see where I need to touch up the paint there from where I did it. However, it was pretty simple to do. I just did it till it fit. Now I'm going to show you next why I'm actually cutting the exhaust. Alright, y'all, so now I had the spare tire up underneath the truck. You can see that it is touching the exhaust heat shield. Now, the tire does have some air taken out of that. Don't worry, I have a power tank in the back of my truck, so if I ever need to use it, I do have some air for it. However, right about here, I don't want that to get hot and screw up my treads, so that's why I'm doing the exhaust chop today. Alright, now we can see a little bit better at this angle. I have my tire here. This is where it's hitting right here. So I have a lot of clearance right here, plus the angle of how this pipe comes down. I am going to miss this entire tire. So I'm thinking about doing is somewhere probably around here I'm going to cut. So I'm just doing a little witness mark right now. I'm going to put a better mark on the bench. However, that gives me the end of this turn right here where it goes straight. That should give me the best. Another option I could have, which I'm going to put option number 2, I cut it right somewhere in here. Gives me a little more length, a little more safety. Just when I get on the bench, I'll have to take a look at it. And again, I'm going to remark these on the bench just so I make a better cut. Then we'll test fit it. All right, now see the Y-pipe, you see the exhaust flange. I did use a little bit of this to hit here, 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 and here, just front and the backs of the bolts to get them to break loose a little bit. Have my wrench set to loosen, and look at that, they came right off. I'm just gonna get these a little bit loose to hold them in place. The next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hit the exhaust hangers, get those kind of loose, and once I get those out of the way, I will take off the rest of the flange. Alright, so now we are on to removing the exhaust hangers. So we have 3 of these little rubber hangers that go into parts of the exhaust. So there's one in the front of the muffler, one in the rear of the muffler, one in the tailpipe. We're only going to be utilizing after the cut the 2 on the muffler, and that should be plenty. It's not that long, it's not that heavy. So what we're going to do is shoot a little bit of oil, front and the rear. And I'm going to take my channel locks and I'm going to attempt to push this off or get it at least close. And that was pretty easy. So now I have that one loose, I'm going to move to the other sides, do those. I'm not going to show those on camera just to save some time, but it's pretty simple with some channel locks. You don't need a special tool. They sell them, they work really well, but I prefer channel locks. Alright, now we got the exhaust pulled off the truck. So we had the rear mount that I showed you guys earlier how to take that off. Now I was actually mistaken in a good way. So I have the 2 rear mounts on the muffler. So that's actually good because I am going to be losing this little hanger right here. I am going to leave the hardware in the truck for later in case I decide to weld this back together for any reason, which I don't see in the future. However, we have the 2 witness marks we made. I am going to be using number 2. I think it gives me a little bit more safety to clear the tire because it puts it lower on the tire. And I think it's just my personal preference. I might go back and cut it to the first mark, but I could always take away. I can't very easily add back on unless I want to do a little bit of welding, which is probably not going to be in this video today, but I'll set you down and we'll get this started. Alright y'all, so I'm just taking a little bit of electrical tape and I'm going to try and get this as level as I possibly can. I understand that it's not perfectly level how it would be in the truck. However, I'm going to angle on the side of caution because I know that this side engaged with the tire, I'm going to do a slightly longer cut here than I would up here. That way it gives me a little bit of extra room to divert exhaust away from the tire if I screw this up. Now again, I could always come back and do this. However, I am going to save this piece in case I want to put it back on later for any reason. That's just me. You don't have to. I believe this is aluminized steel. I mean, I've had 30,000 miles on it, but I live in the south, so there's not a lot of rust down here. I've only been up north once or twice, and I think my truck's seen salt 1 time in its entire life. So what I'm going to do, take my tape, and then the bottom edge is actually the edge that I'm going to cut. Make a couple wraps because it's cold. Things don't like to stick when they're cold down here, but that's completely fine. Alright, so adjust that a little bit. Then I'm going to take my angle grinder with a cutoff wheel and I'm going to hit this guy. Now, I'm doing my best to route my cord in a safe manner so I don't accidentally hit it. And this should be as good as I'm going to get. Alright, you see, Egg Rider probably wasn't the smartest choice. However, it left a little bit of extra meat that I could clean up with the flap wheel portion. I'm not going to show that. But that's about what it is. You use Sawzall, hacksaw, pretty much anything you want. Alright, now I got to clean up a little bit. I just have my file. I'm going to go around the edge, and all I'm doing is when I'm pressing hard, I'm just knocking off all the burrs. Now for the inside, I'm going to use the round side. I don't know if you can see this, but it's like a half moon shaped file. I'm using the inside of the round side, just so outside feels pretty good. I'm just doing it lightly. I don't want to cut myself. I'm actually using my fingernail, so it's a good indicator to show you what still needs to be done. So fix that up a little bit. The reason I use my fingernails, I don't want to cut my actual finger. Your nail's a lot harder than your skin is, so that feels about good. So I'll show you guys pictures and video of when I get it back on the truck. Alright guys, now I have the chop done. I have tons of clearance between the spare tire and the exhaust. I'm not worried about it melting or doing anything kind of crazy like that. Plus, as the truck moves around, I'm very confident that the exhaust will not touch it. So next what I'm going to do is a cold start. As you can see, it is very cold. In North Carolina, we got snow for some reason today. But I'm going to start it up real quick and we'll see how it looks. Or sounds, rather. So nothing too crazy. It is a hair bit louder, but I think that's just the way that the pipe is sending sound waves reverberating off the ground. But I kind of like it. So if you guys like this, please like and subscribe. If you didn't like it, put a dislike in the comments. Tell me what you didn't like about it. Alright guys, I'll see you in the future. Bye.